So now that I've cut my map of Fresh Pond, I've cut it from the white, one of the white squares of paper included in the kit. I'm going to play around with some background options. So I chose not to cut the name of the lake out of my paper because I have this old dictionary and it's in really bad shape. It has no like financial value, even though it's from the early 1900s. And I've been keeping it because I thought it'd be fun for a collage project. Because my lake is named Fresh Pond, I thought it would be really fun to cut out fresh and pond from the dictionary and use that as my label for my map. So that's one of my ideas for decorating it. So I've already cut out fresh and freshwater since it was on the same page. And now I'm going to cut out pond. And I have this, I have this tool called Rolling Sharp, which is hilarious, from Garrett Wade, that I'm going to use. These pages are falling out of the dictionary already anyway, but they're so thin and delicate. And this tool comes with the cutting mat. So I thought it would be an easy way to cut out pond, which is here on the page, without having to actually rip the page out, or if you're cutting from magazines. This is really lightweight and easy to move around for doing collage work. So I'm going to cut out pond here. And this tool works really well for lightweight paper. It can't cut something as thick as the white paper that I've used for the map itself, but it works really well for this really thin, fragile vintage paper. So now I have pond. Get this out of the way. Fresh, and I have pond. I have my map. And I'm going with the light blue background, I think. I also found this scrapbook paper that has a fun paint texture. You could also paint on the paper to get a fun texture like this if you don't have scrapbooking paper laying around like I do. You could use a page from a magazine. You could, or the cover of a magazine is often made of a nice thick paper. So I'm just going to play around with some different options here. So I could keep it very simple and just collage my two pieces of dictionary paper onto the plain background. I could come over here, see what they look like on the painted background, maybe space them out a little differently. I don't love this. It feels a little busy and kind of contrasty with the vintage paper. I tend to like to do three-dimensional things with paper. May have gotten that if you follow my work. So I have these strips of paper that are just scraps left from another project. And I thought it'd be fun to try making them into sort of an organic wavy shape to see what that looks like. With the frames that we're using for this, there's some space. These are shadow boxes. So the map will be at the front of the frame right behind the glass, and the background will be at the back of the frame against the brown backing board. So you have about a ½ inch of space to work with between them. So if you have three-dimensional things like a wine cork is probably too big, but if you had photographs or movie tickets or like a wedding invitation or moving announcement or any sort of other sort of paper artifacts about or that related to the space that you're making a map for or that you've purchased a map for. Those things can all live within the frame if you'd like them to. So let's see how this looks. So I don't know if you can tell from the video, but I'm just rubbing my thumb and my forefinger along the paper, and that lets it curve. So I can do it in one direction and make a spiral, or I can sort of alternate the direction to make this wavy back and forth sort of shape. Not perfect, I'm not going for perfect, just want to add some motion, some organic movement. Let's see how this looks. And because of the way the frame goes together, I have a sense of, you know, we talked about how much space we have to work with, and working with the strips of paper like this actually lets me even see the shadow that I'm going to get. But your background and your map will be aligned perfectly in the frame. So you can sort of stack them to check your spacing. Okay, still not so sure about these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these two pieces down where they are. I'm going to use this double-sided tape. If you're using glue, you want to make sure that it's acid-free. And if you're using really delicate paper like this, you want to test a sample sheet and make sure that it doesn't bleed through the paper and make sort of wet spots. This double-sided tape I'm using is acid-free, and I've used it for a lot of other projects, so I'm pretty familiar with how it works. And I think it's skinny enough to even work on this little piece. Yeah. It's also clear, so even if it overlapped a little bit, you wouldn't really be able to see it. Oh no! Stripped my pond.